Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Justin Wolf from Wolf Customs. So the system that I'm using today is from a good friend of mine named Jason. He is a Primal Archer on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen his channel, I highly recommend him. It's a great channel. He puts a lot of work into his videos and puts forth some really good ones. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box below. But this system that he sent me, when he first started working on this system, you know, I was eyeballing it from day one. When he first started making his vest and everything else, I was thinking to myself, man, there's a lot of possibilities to that, what he's working on. And then, all of a sudden, I seen him expanding on it and expanding on it. And the next thing you know, he threw on an expansion pack that was quick release and everything else. And I knew right then and there that I absolutely had to have one of these things. I just seen the possibilities of it. I mean, you've seen me utilize this system today in kind of a mock scenario, whereas I was, you know, maybe scouting around, taking a look, glassing deer, whatever, you know what I mean? And you could see the possibilities of it. It basically is a hunting system that really hugs your body. It's real streamlined. It's very stealthy. Okay, it doesn't get snagged up on gear and limbs and everything else. And the other thing that it allows you to do is carry a good amount of gear in it. You know, I was able to fit a 10 by 10 seal nylon tarp in it, a hammock. I have a stainless steel water bottle. I had my plastic water bottle. I had some cordage. You know, I've got my Gerber LMF on it, just because, let's be honest, this knife goes with this system. This system's kind of a tactical, has kind of a tactical look to it. So what better knife than the Gerber LMF, because it's a great knife. These two pockets here, you know, you can fit an Altoid 10 in both of these pockets, as well as, you know, other equipment. You know, maybe you want to put a larger ferro rod or something like that in there, lighters, whatever you want, you can. And you guys saw on this side that I have my my water filter. Not only do I have my water filter in here, but I actually have the cleaning syringe as well as the tube that goes on it. So if I needed to, I could put the tube, you know, down in the water and drink straight from the water like that if I needed to. So that's why I did that. But I thought, you know, it's kind of imperative to have, you know, the plunging tube with it if you got to clean it as well. And it holds that stuff no problem at all. When I first opened this system, I was just blown away by Jason's work. I mean, it's very well built. I mean, I am not afraid to say this is Maxpedition quality. There's nothing on this that's going to break. I mean, it's got heavy duty YKK zippers and everything else on it. And the stitching is absolutely phenomenal. Look at that stitching. Very straight, heavy duty. One thing that I would recommend in the future, and this was something that was pointed out to me from a buddy of mine that's in the military, and his name's Donnie. Most of you guys know him. It's Donnie Bassett. And basically what he said was right here, you know, Jason, put a strap with a snap so that way it doesn't have, you know, any stress in that zipper area, which seems to be working just fine. But the fact that you can just take that expansion pack on and off like that, man, I just love it. This thing is going to replace my haversack in certain seasons, you know. Basically when it's late spring, summer, and, you know, going into fall, I'll probably have this thing because it's very lightweight. Wintertime, you know, late fall, stuff like that, Early spring, I'll probably have my haversack. But even if I wanted to leave my haversack at home, I could still have this because you can wear a coat and everything else over the top of this. You could wear a coat over this, okay? Even with the system fully loaded, you could wear a coat over it, and you put a backpack on over that. I mean, that's how compact this thing is to your body. It may not be the most comfortable if you was to do something like that, but you could still do it. So I'm just out today putting this thing through the paces to see, you know, the full potential of it. And I'm blown away with it so far, and I'm really impressed. Right now it's about 100 and, I don't know, probably about 103, 105 degrees outside. So it's very hot. And I'm not overheated because of the fact that it's a vest. Now, you unzip this, and underneath here, it's all sweat. I mean, there's just no way around it. You're sweating. But, I tell you what, it's kind of nice because I just pulled that off, even though it's like 103, 105 degrees outside. You kind of get this chill. Air kind of rushes in there and chills you a little bit, which is kind of nice. But I'm really, really digging this thing. So let me show you a couple other features on this thing. So down here, you'll notice I've got all these straps and everything else just all wadded up, and I've got them zip tied. These will come loose, okay? And you can actually run a tactical belt through this. And Jason, that's how Jason wears his, is he has a tactical belt on here. You know, he's got his sidearm and a few other items on it as well. I'm not utilizing it today, but it's there if you need it, you know? So I think that's really cool. Everything on this thing, I mean, you can see that all the straps and everything else on the back, fully adjustable. I mean, this thing will fit guys like me. You know, I'm not an overly big guy. I'm only about, 5'11", 195 pounds or something like that. So I'm just an average sized guy. You get somebody that's larger, it expands. You know, you get someone that's smaller, it sucks in. So it fits multiple size guys. Again, the expansion pack, okay? Fully adjustable. And I made the mistake of thinking, okay, when I first got this, I put some gear in it, cinched it up, and I had the gear riding high up on my shoulders, and it just wasn't that comfortable. And with talking to Jason, he said, no, lower it down a little bit. So I did, and it rides great. I don't feel that weight on my shoulders at all. I mean, obviously the system wasn't designed to just load to the gill, you know what I mean? I personally probably wouldn't exceed 15, 20 pounds in this thing, and you can get a lot of gear at 15 and 20 pounds. I mean, that's just all there is to it. But what I'm carrying here, I don't even notice it. I put it on and it's very comfortable. I don't notice it pulling at my shoulders or anything like that. I know originally I thought, man, you know, it'd be kind of nice to have some pads underneath these, but honestly, I haven't felt the weight. It's rode fantastic. Now I'm sure if there's people out there that want to put a little bit more gear in it, Jason said that he might consider making some shoulder pads in the future, you know, as an option, or to buy separately, but he's not 100% on that. The other thing with this expansion pack is you can see right here I've also got these straps zip tied, and these straps, when you pull them down, you can put a small blanket on here, or a jacket, you know, or something like that, which is, again, it's just another option. Very cool. Obviously, we've got all the PALS webbing and everything else. That's how I've got the Gerber LMF strapped to the vest, which is very nice. But like I said, the quality of this thing is just blowing my mind. And you know how I am, guys. You know, I make all my own leather goods and everything else, so I really appreciate handmade quality gear. You know what I mean? So this stuff is just really impressing me. It's made out of 500 denier Kedora, and Jason thought, or he told me, he goes, you know, I contemplated using 1000 Kedora, but I like to keep everything lightweight because I go on 10-mile hikes. And I told him, I said, Jason, you know what? Makes perfect sense. This is not designed to hold a ton of gear. This is not designed to be waterproof or anything like that. This is designed to put minimal gear in, go out scouting, or in this case, you could actually do an overnight. You know, no problem. I could have fit a package of food in this, no problem at all. I could fit a couple granola bars in this, no problem at all. Or you can put an extra small little pouch on this thing, or up here, you know, for a first aid kit, or for food, or whatever, you know. So I do not see it necessary, Jason, going up to the 1000 Kedora. I think the 500 is just fine. You know, and another thing about the Kedora is the fabric itself is waterproof, you know. Now the system itself is not. It's very water resistant, but water's always going to get in at the seams, you know, unless it's got like a Gore-Tex seal or something like that on it. You know, it's always going to get in at the zippers and all that good stuff. There's just no way around that. But I have no doubt that if I was walking around in a light to medium rain with this, I just don't think that everything on the inside is going to get wet. Is it eventually going to soak through? Probably. But here's the thing. If you're concerned about your gear getting wet, put it in a dry bag, because all of our gear, all of your packs are going to leak, okay? All your expensive Duluth packs and all that good stuff, torrential downpours are going to get in there. You know, I've got a Molly 2 ruck that's made out of very heavy duty Kedora, and it is very water resistant. But I've had that thing in some torrential downpours, and it still gets wet on the inside. You know, it's not the bag, it's just the nature of it. It's just the nature of the build. So if you're concerned about your stuff getting wet, like I said, put it in a dry bag, and you can fit a small dry bag in this anyway. And if you're not using a dry bag, start using dry bags, trust me. You don't want to be cold and wet. I have fallen through the ice and had to walk home for several miles sopping wet before, and this was when I was a little kid. It was before I took all of this serious. My grandfather had always preached it to me, but you know, I was a kid. I didn't take it serious. And so by the time I got home, I didn't think I was going to make it home, let's put it that way. And it was at that point that I realized my grandfather knows what he's talking about. I'm going to listen to him, and that is why I do all this now, is because I fell through the ice at a young age and almost died from it. So I've been cold and I've been wet, and I'll never be cold and wet like that again. If I fall through the ice from now on, I will have a dry pair of clothes. I will have a fire kit. I'll have whatever it is that I need to get myself dry and warm. Plain and simple. But anyway, more about this system. I think you guys can definitely, right now I guarantee all you guys the wheels are turning. I guarantee it. If anybody out there looks at this system and goes, ooh, bleh, you're a funny individual, because this system is pretty awesome. I see this system as being a really, really cool, you know, everybody's big into the get home bags and everything else. You know, I've got, you know, just a really cheap backpack in my truck with some get home gear and all that good stuff if I ever need it. Basically where I live though, I mean, I don't live anywhere that's even remotely in the boonies or anything else, so it's never going to be really an issue for me, but I still have it. But for you guys that do live out in the boonies and everything else, this would actually be a pretty cool get home kit. You know, you throw it on, strap it on, go. Very symmetrical, streamlined, stealthy, and everything else, fit a decent amount of gear in it, the essentials, go. So anyway, I know that, you know, Jason, I don't think is going to start manufacturing these things right now, and he's still actually contemplating whether or not he's going to. He's kind of just waiting to see, get some feedback from everybody. He was wanting me to really test this thing out. He's wanting to test his out thoroughly, and he's wanting to get feedback from all of you guys. Let him know what you think of it, because based on what you guys tell him, based on what he finds, what I find, and all that good stuff is going to be the determining factor on whether or not he goes forth and starts making these things. I know that he's not going to do it anytime recent, because he's got archery season getting ready to open up in his state, and he doesn't want to tie himself down until hunting season is over with, and I can't say that I blame him. Now, I do believe that he is already started the patent process on this, so if any of you guys out there are looking at it and wanting to copy it and everything else, that's not going to be a very good idea to do. So, which is rude anyway. But anyway, like I said, I strongly recommend that you guys go to Jason's channel, okay? On his channel, you'll find another video that is related to this, and he talks about it a little bit more in depth. Give him some feedback. Give me some feedback. Let us know what you think of this thing, because I personally think that this is really a cool system, and I see a lot of potential with it. So I'm going to be using this quite a bit. That's all there is to it. But anyway, enough rambling. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video on this stealth hunting system. And as always, guys, have a good one.